Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This video is going to have a walkthrough on how we set up, take an appraisal from a customer, put it into our appraising system, put it into our CRM system, and communicate that back with the customer. This is the full appraisal process and how it should be done every time. Now, when we look on the screen, we have two things. This is going to match up, this tutorial is going to match up with your trade appraisal guide. So in your product specialist guide, you have a trade appraisal guide that goes through all these steps. So you can find this on page 27 of 45 on your trade appraisal, on your product specialist guide, and you can always reference. You'll be able to reference this video at any time as well. So let's talk by looking at the trade appraisal form. Upon a customer initiating that we do have a trade appraisal and that they would wish to trade, we go ahead and we start doing what is a conditional trade appraisal form. This trade appraisal form will get the basic information on the vehicle. That way our appraisers can get the information into the system and give the customer a preliminary figure that is based upon the condition of the vehicle at the time of delivery of that vehicle to us when we have possession of it. Again, these are preliminary quotes. We will stand by them as long as the vehicle is described by the customer. Now, the trade appraisal form, which we'll find on page 29 of your trade appraisal guide, is a typable form. That means that not only can you type it, but you can also send it to a customer and they can type it. So let's go through and start doing a couple of things, and so you can see what I'm talking about. So under customer name, if you just click here, you can type in my name. Go to company name if they do have one. Come down here to address. All right, so you can get the basic customer information. Now remember, this is very, very important because it helps us tie everything together. Once we have that information, we can come down here into the VIN, and you can put the VIN, which is 17 digits. If you have less than 17 digits, there is a problem with the vehicle. Now, let's go back to one of my older up sheets that I've had, just so we can copy a VIN and make this very easy. And it is a 2013 Chevy 1500 LT with a 5.3. Cab size is crew. Bed length is 143.5, or you can type in short bed, or you can put long bed or whatnot. You can also, if this is a dually or single rear wheel, each one of these checked boxes you can check. So if I click on dually, if it was a dually, or I can unclick it. So this is single rear wheel, so let's just click it just in case, or you can leave it blank since this is just a half-ton truck. Then we have 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. My vehicle is a 2-wheel drive, so we can click that and you can see that that is checked off. It's an automatic. The mileage on it is 4,800 miles. Then you can look, is it leather, cloth, or vinyl? This one was a cloth one. Exterior color, silver. And interior color is gray. Okay? So we have all that information right there. So this is the basic information we need from the customer information and the vehicle information. Next, what we need to look at is the appraisal information. Again, these boxes are checkable, so you can do this on the computer, you can do it by hand, however you see fit. Again, you can send this to a customer and the customer can fill this out. So we can go through all these and you can check original owner, yes, clean history report, yes, no, everything else that you want to put about this vehicle you can. So just come through and complete every one of these sections. We went ahead and skipped a couple of steps so I could not make y'all look at this, but if you look at everything, it's all filled out. Just a couple of things to note. At the bottom of this page, of the internal information, is very, very important. We need to who put the salesperson is that's doing this, Or if it's a BDC rep, we need to put the BDC rep's name, and then you need to put the date on which this was done. This is very important information so we can track. That information has to be in there. Period, bottom line, end the story. This is not a complete, accurate appraisal if it is not in there. So once we have all this information, you can see that it's all filled out. The next step that we're going to do is put this information in AutoRaptor, because we've always want this information in AutoRaptor first. So I've already got a test up sheet made with a vehicle, with everything else. So let's go to add trades. So we're going to put a 2013 Chevy. The model is a 1500, and then the trim style is going to be LT Crew 2-wheel drive. The color is important, so the color is going to be gray, or silver, excuse me. The VIN, again, this is what's really nice about having this and putting this information and typing it in. You can just copy and paste the VIN right in there. Mileage 4,800, ACV, allowance, and payoff we have not gotten yet. Now, in the notes section, this is a very, very important part. So if a customer is sitting there when they're telling you, and that there has scratches, it has aftermarket exhaust, it has anything, this vehicle needs to be noted. For instance, my vehicle had an insurance claim for hail damage. This is important to know for the appraiser, so when the appraiser looks at it, he can pull both the Carfax and the auto check on the vehicle, and then this vehicle will be taken care of, looked at, and make sure that it's appraised correctly. One thing to note, that on your trade-in appraisal form, if you look over here at the aftermarket equipment, if there's any aftermarket equipment, make sure that's filled out over there. So when that information is done, let's hit Save Trade. So now we have it in AutoRaptor. All right. We can click auto check right here, and it'll bring up the auto check history on this vehicle. This is very important. As you can see, this has a clean auto check history on it, and this needs to be printed off. So make sure you print it off, and this goes in the conditional trade appraisal folder with the trade appraisal form. Okay, so once you have those printed off, the next thing we need to do is put this in vAuto. So when you open up your vAuto, you're going to have a tab just like this. So the VIN, again, since we've copied the VIN, we've got it in two places now. We have it here on the up sheet. Let's delete that and clean it up. Don't know why I doubled up. We have it here on the up sheet, and we have it in your trade appraisal form. So let's get the VIN, put the VIN number, put the mileage, and as you can see with the VIN number, it already selected this is Chevy 1500 LT truck, transmission is automatic, and let's make this a silver vehicle. It's all right there. If this was an LT and it didn't populate, we could put LTZ, work truck, or any other series, which is the same thing. The series type in vAuto is the same thing as the trim level. So make sure you know that. We could put body type, we could select all of that. First name, make sure all this information is filled out. Let's make sure all this is. And the address and postal code, generally you're not going to have that information during the preliminary, but if you do have that information, say you have a credit application or anything else, that needs to go there. So the next thing you need to do is notify the appraisers. Okay, so our appraisers right now is Ralph, and he's our main and primary appraiser. If that changes or anything else, you click who it is. This will notify them that there is an appraiser present. So next, click Actions and click Save. That'll save the vehicle in the system. Okay, this will also notify the appraiser, hey, that we have an appraisal on this vehicle. So that's the very, very good point, because now you can time your 15 minutes. Get a timer, set yourself up a task in AutoRaptor, and what I would do is come right over to AutoRaptor, to your up sheet, and go follow I would also, if I were you, would add a task for the appraiser. If I can spell appraise right today. And then you can add it for whoever their appraiser is, Ralph. So this will show up on his screen that he has an appraisal to do. This is very good, and it's a communication tool to make sure everyone is on the same page. Remember, our biggest goal in life when we're working all our process and systems is that everybody has a turn time of 15 minutes from everything from finance to quotes to anything, that they have a 15-minute turn time on all the information. So now the folder is given to Ralph with all the information, the trade appraisal form, it's in vAuto, and you have that clean auto check history on it. When this is done, Ralph or the appraiser will return to you an appraisal sheet that has the value of the vehicle, has everything else in it. When you get that appraisal, you need to come in here, and the first thing you need is edit appraisal, and then put in ACV and allowance, which is the same thing for us, however much that vehicle is worth. If you've gotten to the payoff section yet, you can put it to the payoff section, but generally you haven't gotten to the payoff section just yet. So it's just save trade, and the very next thing you have to do, and we haven't built a quote on this vehicle, so let's say that we've already had a quote on this vehicle. The very next thing you must do at all times is, as soon as you have that quote for the appraisal figure, you come in here, you edit the quote, and you put down how much that is. When that is done, your final step to close that appraisal out is to send the customer an email. This is very important in our process because it's all about establishing that rapport and that active communication with the customer. So all you have to do is compose a new email. You can type, "Hey Chris, we received your and you can put it in there, and you can fluff it up, do whatever you need to, say the right things, and we're not going to get into word tracks and everything on this, but then attach the quote. We want our customers to see the transparency that we do have. So by sending them a quote that is updated every single step of the way, then we are showing that transparency. So again, let's go review just a couple of the facts that we need to do. The trade appraisal form is typable. You can type this in Acrobat and Preview on a Mac or anything else, and you can make sure this is done. Send it to the customer. They can do it, or you can do it over the phone. Preferably, you'd like to do it over the phone, and the reason is by talking to the customer, you're automatically building rapport. Sending them something to fill out is a good idea if they don't have time, but at the same time, they're trying to buy a $50,000 or $60,000 automobile from us. It is our job to fulfill their needs, not their job to fulfill our needs. So talk to the customer, get the information, put it in AutoRaptor, then put it in vAuto, get it appraised, and once it's appraised, resend a quote. It is very important we do that. So I hope this tutorial has helped you out. Please let me know if you have any questions.